There's no way anybody could enjoy these. I'm Charles Rentham with a review of a Netflix original movie, Cadaver, and a Shudder original movie, Lake of Death. Cadaver had a couple good ideas, and it pretty much just fell apart about halfway through, and Lake of Death was complete schlock. I could probably just end things right there if I really wanted to, but like any multi-film review that I do, there will be spoilers throughout. And there isn't a lot of material for either of these movies, that's why I'm combining them, human centipeding them together, if you will, and presenting this to you. And I like foreign horror movies. The problem is neither of these were any good. One may be on my worst films of the year list because it was just complete bullshit. So let's start with Cadaver. So there's this, nuclear fallout in some city in Norway or some town in Norway. I didn't actually catch which one it was. There's a family, Lenora, Jacob, and their daughter Alice, and they are struggling to survive, as are many people. There's this hotel, though, that's going to have this party hosted by a man named Matthias. And they've got this feast going and everything, and there's going to be, theatrical stuff. There's going to be a party. There's going to be fun and games. And people get to put on masks and participate in a live action play. And then you get to find out what it actually is. Now, I'm not really shocked that this movie turned out to not be very good. The, locations are very pretty, and the hotel is goddamn beautiful, and there were a couple good ideas here. It was a social commentary on what would you do to survive, whether you were up here or way down here. The problem is, with movies like this, you have to establish some good characters, and this movie had no characters. It just had people that were named, and then suddenly they were either killed or they were in on the plot, and that's really what it came down to. And also, since it's called Cadaver, and everybody's feasting on this stuff at this hotel when there's no other, real great food source outside the hotel, and there's people going in there, what do you think the food source is? It's people! The food source is people! Sorry, bad Charlton Heston impression. Honestly, this movie really wasn't all that good. Lenora eventually finds out after her daughter goes missing and her husband gets killed that, there's this plot, there's these tunnels that go to this secret kitchen that, where people are harvested and, cut up into bits and pieces and everything and presented as dishes. They're presented as the main course or the appetizer, whatever the fuck it is. And even though these games have been going on for a while, this woman alone manages to take down the entire goddamn thing by not getting people to believe her and then eventually getting people to believe her because she survives the game that nobody else has been able to survive up till this point. So you either basically join this guy, Matthias, or you become the main course, and then she gets people to revolt, and then they destroy everybody, kill everybody. He gets killed by one of his people that he had join him. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal, basically. And then Lenora and her daughter go off, and now who knows what they're going to fucking do, because now the food source has been cut off, so they're just going to survive, and they're just going to do whatever. In all honesty, can't recommend. There were some good ideas, and I understood what they were trying to do, but it was very basic, very generic, and I didn't really care about any of the characters. Still, it had a couple good things about it. It's just not something I would recommend you watch. Now let's move on to Lake of Death. Okay, so you got a girl named Lillian that is, dealing with the death of her brother, and she has a lot of issues like sleepwalking. She has a lot of haunting visions, and she doesn't want to sleep, and also, her and her friends, kind of are at odds. They love her, but also they know that she has some issues. And everybody wants to apparently sleep with her because she's got an ex-boyfriend that's there. And also another friend that wants to sleep with her. But there's this backstory about how her brother ended up going missing at this cabin by the lake. Actually in the lake a bit, a year prior. And the only positive I can say about this movie is that the locations are very, very beautiful, especially, the picturesque, lake location and stuff like that. Very, very beautiful. I don't know what city or, area in Norway this was filmed. It was also shot in 23 days on 35 millimeter, and there's nothing wrong with shooting a film quick. But apparently they only did 1 or 2 takes for the actors. And by Christ, can you tell? Everybody was just basically, I don't even know if they were handed scripts. Honestly, I think they were just told to say shit and then just said it. The acting, it's subpar, but you're going to get that when you do a quick production like this. The thing is, they try to heap all this haunted stuff on you, but then it just turns out that the brother actually didn't die in the lake, that he's been committing these murders because he's very attached to his sister, a little too attached in some cases, and has tried to, has basically killed everybody to get to her. He's been living in the basement that they just somehow secretly found, right, convenient plot device. And there's these weird things going on. It looks like somebody's been living there. And earlier somebody had set breakfast for all but, one extra person. Wait, who is this extra person that should have been there? It turns out it should have been the brother, and you don't really have any sympathy for any of the characters. It's not very good. The deaths are shit. Again, the locations are very beautiful, but you don't care about who lives and who dies. And also there's this other part where Lillian keeps seeing, people getting possessed by black goo and stuff like that. And she keeps getting black goo on her. Maybe there is a haunted, spirit in the lake that's dragging people down. Maybe there isn't. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? Evidently, this movie didn't, and it's a remake of Lake of the Dead. There was like a 1958 Norwegian movie that I haven't seen and maybe should see because it couldn't be any goddamn worse than this. But yeah, that's basically what the whole goddamn plot was. It was all. They also did some slow-mo stuff that was really dragged out. This motherfucker was dragged out like crazy. I can't fucking believe that they somehow managed to get 95 minutes out of this, when it could have easily been like an hour and 20. And Shudder does some really good stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's some good Shudder originals. The Cleansing Hour, go watch that instead. That is much, 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 much better. And they do other good foreign movies. This was not one of them. And or at least, something they brought to their service. Yeah, I really can't recommend this. Lake of Death gets a goddamn F because the explanations are just goddamn shit. And then they just bring back the black goo, so suddenly, she's possessed and everything. Oh no, she's possessed. The dog lived, so at least there's that. But yeah, the movie was goddamn dog shit. In fact, I haven't done this in a while for a horror review. So there you go. That's it right there. Yeah, Cadaver, D, and Lake of Death, F. That's all I gotta say. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.